resonate with discerning audiences of investors, CEOs, civil society representatives and media. The first two editions were curated in Davos in January 2017 and 2018, and right now we see their presence here in the 24th edition of the CII Partnership Summit 2018, ladies and gentlemen. Our Honorable Chief Minister has arrived. I'd request you all to please take your seats as we now get set for our special plenary session for day 2 of the summit, titled Technologies for Tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take the privilege of inviting on stage our Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Shri N. Chandrababu Naidu Garu, as I request him to join us on stage. May I also invite on stage Mr. Peter Westerbacka, co-founder / Finlet. Ms. Marilyn Elder, founder and CEO, Plant E, Netherlands. Mr. Nitin Sisodia, founder, Soham Innovation Lab. Mr. Prateek Bum, co-founder, Carbon Clean Solutions UK. Mr. Sibabrata Das, co-founder, Atomberg Technologies. Mr. Rob Leslie, CEO and founder, Serisi Innovations Ireland. Mr. Amit Narayan, founder, AutoGrid USA. And Mr. Ahmed Babu, CEO, Real Time Governance, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Before I hand over the session to Mr. Amit Shahi to share with us a little bit about the session, today we saw the demise of an evergreen yesteryear actress, Sri Devi, ladies and gentlemen. For a guest from outside India, she was an actress known for her talent and charisma, and it's a huge loss not only to the film industry but to the entire nation. May I request you all to kindly rise to observe 1 minute silence, requesting her soul to be in peace. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. With that, I'm going to hand over the mic to Mr. Amit Shahi, CEO of the Untitled Works, also the curator for Technologies for Tomorrow, as I request him to share a little bit about this session with all of us.
Gain is coming. Gain is coming. Gain.
Good morning, Honorable Chief Minister, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. I'm having to borrow this greeting from India's most popular airline because I see a large number of students at the back of the hall. May I request all of you to please settle down.
Okay. I know. This laptop.
We're running a little behind time, so I will not take more than 2 minutes to introduce the concept of Technologies for Tomorrow. With support from Mr. Naidu, we started in Davos in January 2017. And the Technologies for Tomorrow session was envisioned as a platform where Mr. Naidu could interact with innovators and technology pioneers from across the world to identify technologies that he could bring back to Andhra Pradesh to help his people grow faster and live better. And I'm happy to announce that over 2 editions that we have had in Davos, he has had very productive discussions with innovators from across the world to harness the best of global technologies for the benefit of people of Andhra Pradesh. Today, we have speakers from Finland, Ireland, the Netherlands, the US, and a few from India, because the brief from the Chief Minister was very clear that for the next Technologies for Tomorrow session, we must have innovators from India. So we have people from healthcare, energy efficiency, entrepreneurship development, and renewable energy. And without taking much of your time, I would now like to invite the Chief Minister, Mr. Naidu, to give his keynote address, which will be followed by short 5-minute presentations by the innovators that are here to share their views with you. Thank you very much, and I look forward to you enjoying our session.
No, it's fine. Okay, okay. Now, from now, one person is monitoring here, no problem. Okay. You monitor and tell him every time. Full time.
Respected panelists, Mr. Sai Das, co-founder, Untitled Technology, Mr. Amit Narayan, founder, Autogrid USA, Pratik Bum, co-founder, Carbon Clean Solutions UK, Mr. Elder, founder and CEO, Plant E, Netherlands, respected Rob Leslie, CEO, founder from Ireland, Nitin Sisodia, founder, Soham Innovation Lab, Peter, co-founder, from Finland, Babu Ahmed, CEO RTD, and friends and students. I am very happy to talk to you. This is Technologies for Tomorrow. We are thinking always ahead of time. We are all discussing technologies for tomorrow. In this regard, if you see, Andhra Pradesh state is a new state, only 3.5 years time. Earlier I was CM for Andhra Pradesh, combined Andhra Pradesh, 9 years. After that, various political reasons, all these things, state is divided into two. This is a new state now. Capital, it has gone to other state, but we started afresh. When we started a state, after bifurcation, we don't have capital, we don't have good institutions, we are financial deficit, and also we don't have industries also much. With that we have started. First thing what I have done, I have prepared vision for 2050.
Tell him, madam,
earlier,
he is having login, right?
I have prepared vision for 2020. That vision we have implemented and we got excellent results. Because of that vision, Hyderabad has become a knowledge economy. And also I added one city, that is Hyderabad. Today, by taking into consideration what all the resources available, we have prepared a vision. This vision is, we are having excellent human resources, sea coast is 1,000 kilometers, fertile land, and also very creative people. By using all these things, I prepared the vision. This is by 2022, we will be one among top 3 states in the country. By 2029, we will be number 1 in the country, and also in terms of economic criteria and happiness as index. By 2050, Andhra Pradesh will be the preferred destination. That is where we are working. That is where we are working as of today. If you see here after that, next slide. We have prepared 7 missions and also 5 grids. If you see primary sector, agriculture, social empowerment for society, how to take forward, even industry sector, service sector, knowledge and skill development, urban development, infrastructure. These are all 7 missions my government has taken up. Mission approach. We are going in a coordinated effort. You are all aware, government means always it is silo approach. We want to break all silos. Now we are going as a mission approach, integrating all departments. If you see here, 5 grids we are having: power, gas, road, water, fiber. This is where we are going systematically for saturation point and also quality infrastructure we want to create. That is where we are working today. Next. For all these things again, you wanted to achieve, always you have to use technology. I am a strong believer in technology. Technology will bring transparency, accountability, speediness. Today we have reached to take a real-time decisions also. Here if you see real-time governance we have established, e-Pragati, it is a platform, nowhere in the world I have explained for some time. e-Pragati project, we are integrating all services on e-Pragati and also AFI fiber. This is the bandwidth. Without bandwidth all these things will become theoretical. So we have gone in a big way. AFI fiber, one experiment here, very disruptive way we have thought. To take cable to the last mile, it is costing nearly 6,000 crores. We don't have money. Then we got an innovative idea. Every home we are connecting electricity. Through that infrastructure, we have taken fiber now. Every home we are able to connect, very cost effective. That is only 320 crores we have spent. Ultimately, if you see, every home I am giving 15 Mbps, all 500 channels, video, internet, 3 telephones, and also Wi-Fi at the cost of 149 rupees. Nowhere in the world this type of infrastructure is available. That is the biggest asset we are having as on today. Our government time is very clear. It is agile, seamless, dynamic, data-driven. We wanted to empower citizens and also well-connected, aware, satisfaction level we wanted to take. Ultimately, with the government performance, I want to reach 80% satisfaction level. If you see here RTGC section, conference room, control room, strategy room, annexing, and also district center. So this is where decentralized and at the same time we will go all out for delivery of services. If you see here, golden data, India is having one advantage, whereas we are having Aadhaar as an authentication of every citizen. We are able to complete now. With the biometric, we are having a authentication, either fingerprint or iris or otherwise facial recognition. No other country is having this advantage. That is the advantage. As on today, we have gone 100% saturation. If you see here, again, Aadhaar as an individual authentication. It is not a family, there is no data as such. So what we have done, through Praja Sadhikar survey, we are able to bring all individuals in a family together. That is Praja Sadhikar survey, family profile, village profile, all government programs we are integrating now. This is the real-time data. We can see how it is happening. These are all the citizens we are having. Every family I am having data today, so that I can plan family-wise. First of all, strategy at state level, macro level. I can implement at a family level and execute it and supervise. This is the golden data. Men is 2.23 crore, women is 2.11 crore, total population 4.34 crore. As of today, we are having a People's Hub. People's Hub is the authority. They will maintain this data. All the departments, they are using this data. If you see here, this are all, one is people, second is land. In India, we are having so many problems in land. So we are attempting to bring land also totally under digitalized. If you see here, we are establishing land hub, integration, transparency and convenience. To modernize land records, we are having 2.84 crore agriculture parcels, 0.50 urban properties, 0.85 rural properties. We are giving just like Aadhaar. We are having a Budhar. Budhar is 11-digit Budhar, and also this will be unique number. Nobody can tamper it. Even to provide integrated services, land details, mutation details, eKYB, we are having authentication, just like eKYC for human being. For land also we are having authentication. If you see here, single source of truth of land or property, pilot is going on, it is successful. If you see geo-coordinate, transaction history, litigation status, permission, everything. This is a leg-long centroid. We are working, that is Budhar. One parcel, if you see, 282211233589. This is the denominations we are given in that. If you see here, land hub and also people hub, we are having comprehensive financial management system. This comprehensive financial management system, if you see, every beneficiary in all the place will be tracked. Every rupee what we are spending, we will analyze where receipts and expenditure, regular time, real time, we can monitor now. There is a e-office, there is a e-cabinet. In Andhra Pradesh, by March we are planning to become all offices computerized, paperless offices. Biometric attendance, real time I know who has come to office, how much time he has spent in the office. This is a very interesting thing, we are working in that. Even AP Cloud, Microsoft Azure, they are working with us, hybrid cloud management. Even future cloud is very important. Now we are moving in that area. As on today, we are having excellent cloud, and also we are having a policy also. We wanted to make Andhra Pradesh as a hub for cloud maintenance. That is where we are working today. Then this is the platform. If you see here, healthcare, and also primary sector, education, IT infra, productivity, safety, people's hub, land hub, with education, industry, everything. Now in this, there will be very easy from government to government, government to citizen, government to business, business to government. This is where we are working. If you see in that portal next to this, all my government is online now. Even pensions, rainfall, you name anything, everything is online now. Even I can monitor very clearly. I can go to last mile. It is a real-time updation of information. We are working in a direction real-time. If you see here, street lights, different municipalities, they are showing. Even all street lights are all sensor-based. Even I will know which light is on, which light is off. Here also we are able to introduce one excellent policy. LED bulbs we have replaced with a traditional bulb. I didn't spend even one pipe. I called service providers. What I am spending today, I can save 30%. Remaining 70% I will give it to you. 10 years I will give it for you, give it for management for you. You bring investment, take profit, and also take your returns also. It has worked very well. Around 40 lakh LED bulbs in street lights we are able to change totally without spending 1 rupee. Earlier all my street lights, sometimes they are not functioning. Today, because of sensor base, on the base of performance I am paying money, all lights are intact. I know which bulb has burned, how much time out of order, on the basis that I can pay money. This is where if you see, because of daytime all lights are off, during night time all lights will be indicated with green. So this is a very interesting, if you see here, groundwater, rainfall, temperature, air quality, reservoir status, next. All these things, real time I can monitor. Ultimately, if you see here, surveillance cameras everywhere. Now roads I can monitor. What is it? If you can see here, all surveillance cameras. If you can see, this is the area, so that I can know what is happening. Even I can see from there any paper on the road, any pothole on the road. Anybody is committing any theft or robbery or ill-treating women, harassment of women, everything will be online. Then nobody will commit any mistake now. That is how we are working with surveillance cameras. Now virtual classrooms we are able to establish. Around 4,000 have gone. Again 2,000 classrooms we are going. Ultimately every school will be covered with virtual classrooms and also laboratory. Experts will be from laboratory. Regular teacher will be at classroom. For every 20 classrooms, one moderator will be there. He will give quality education with audio, video, visual presentation. My friend is here from Finland. We want to go for gaming also in a big way for students. Education, gaming. Yesterday also we had a meeting. Drones we are using in a big way. Even soil testing. Even pesticide spraying. Even tomorrow anybody wanted to have any immediate medicines we can send it, or food also we can send it. There is no traffic problems. Now this is a big survey carrier. Drones are going to become only the state which is having drones corporation, that is Andhra Pradesh government. No other state is having. We are using drones very effectively. Every municipality, every month we are having a drone picture. If you see, this is mining. Mining, periodically we are measuring. We are establishing the mining owners, how much they have paid loyalty, everything, how much they have executed the work, all these things are coming. There won't be any fraud at all. Even locked house monitoring system we have introduced. Anybody will go out of home for holiday or relative's house, we will keep on camera. Anybody will come for theft, it will go to control room and also police station. Within no time, police will reach the house and protect his property. Even he can monitor anywhere in the world, he can monitor his house. His house is safe or not, he can monitor continuously. That is how it is real time, it is going on as of now. So these are all the very innovative ideas we are working. If you see media feedback, totally media watch, all grievances, print media, electronic media, social media, sentiment analysis, citizen satisfaction, we are working in that. Next. This is where I told you earlier, all my government departments as of now, 14% rainfall deficit. My groundwater is 11.29 meters as of now. If you see here, street lights, that is a monitoring. Pensions, 90.92% we are able to distribute as of now. Even everything, it is online now. Everything, if you see here, this is the beauty of this program. real-time governance, e-Pragati will monitor everything. We are benchmarking every indicator nationally, internationally. We want to reach the best in the world. We are having Samaj Vikasam, family benefits, we are monitoring very closely. And also Kutumba Vikasam, this is the family welfare, Samaj Vikasam is the society. Sustainable development goals, 17, 27 macro, 104 micro indicators, 19 secretariat departments real time I can monitor. And also if you see GVA, GSTP contribution, 3 sections, 18 indicators, 12 department, we are monitoring real time. Every department there is a performance indicator. All these indicators will be real time. We want to establish the ecosystem. This is where government is working very systematically. Next. This is where grievance redressal system. Anybody is having any problem, he can contact 1100. Only that number. Immediately there are 8 level of processing. One is immediately grievances will be registered. Then ultimately it is going to assign last mile functionary, and also we are going to give a SMS message to the citizen, your grievance is registered. Like that, again after completing the work, we will take his feedback. If you say I am satisfied, file is closed. Or otherwise it will be opened, we will find out the truth, then only we will dispose each grievance. That is the level of integrity we are working. That is the one call center is working. Around 2,000 people are working round the clock. So it is a very big infrastructure we are able to create, and a perfect integration we are able to establish now. Even if you can see there, every petition you can drill down to the last mile. When it comes, when we have sent to the last mile functionary, what he has done, all these things you can monitor very closely. Next. Our aim is very clear, one government, one citizen. People's first, empowering citizens. Data-driven, real-time action. Visible governance, invisible government. Government won't be seen, but everything will be done. That is our idea, that is how we are going. I am confident things are moving in that direction. We are able to establish good infrastructure. Finally, for all these things, according to me, world is full of abundance. I am using this word. There is no shortage. But only how to handle is very important. If you see, today we are all inspiring time with technology. Earlier, we don't have this advantage. 22 years back, 25 years back, I promoted technology. At that time, I promoted for employment and also to do some work for Americans or abroad, but not citizens of this country. Today, I am using same technology for overall empowering the citizens of Andhra Pradesh, for overall benefit of the people of Andhra Pradesh. If you see here, this is where we are going next step. As of today, I have shown all these things for government. Now I am showing you one slide here, how knowledge, you have to use it. With the technology as a platform, IoT will be a real-time integration. And also process and outcomes if you do, you can achieve excellent results, state level, national level, global level. That is what Amazon.com or Alibaba or Flipkart or any other organization for that matter. Today, next step we are going, health, education, entertainment, agriculture, lot of opportunities. That is the value of money. Any knowledge is there, you can use it IT platform for application, then you can reach anywhere in the world, you can deliver, you are going to get that advantage. Ultimately my idea is, I want to put government just like Alexa or Google. Anybody will say anything, it has to address now. If you see here, I am showing that model Alexa, it will answer now. You can take it.
Mike. This side, Mike.
Yes, hello. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to demonstrate Alexa here. This is a personal assistant created by Amazon. So it's customized for RTG. So I'm going to demonstrate it here. Alexa, launch RTG dashboard. Alexa, launch RTG dashboard. Alexa, launch RTG dashboard.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Alexa, launch RTG dashboard.
Namaskaram. Welcome to Andhra Pradesh CM dashboard. This dashboard gives the details of various schemes and development areas in different districts of Andhra Pradesh. I can provide you a list of district names, and also you can say help to know more about what you can ask me.
Tell me the statistics for Forest Department.
Srikakulam achieved the highest percentage of tree plantation with 100% target achievement by planting 170 trees this year.
How are we doing in Horticulture Department?
The highest percentage of farmer registration was done in YSR Kadpa with achievement percentage 134% and 19,312 number of farmers registered.
How is West Godavari doing in school education?
Correct.
As per the data, in West Godavari, there is one school for 118 students. Total number of students is 5,29,067 and total number of teachers is 4,457 in this district.
How are we doing in Sustainable Development Goal Zero Hunger?
The Sustainable Development Goal 2 refers to end hunger, achieve nutrition and food security. Currently, there are 43 performance indicators. Of these 43 indicators, as on date, we are doing better on 14 based on the target achievement statistics. The top 3 of them are productivity sugarcane kilogram per hectare with achievement percentage 189.95%. Tags covered under Neeru Check 2 number with achievement percentage 185.99% and production cotton lakh metric ton with achievement percentage 134.47%. The least performing indicator is additional irrigation potential created lakh acres with the target achievement percentage of only 6.51%. In additional irrigation potential created lakh acres KPI, the least performing district is Chittoor with the target achievement percentage of 0.20%. Sufficient data for other districts is not available.
Stop.
Now you can see how it is functioning.
I cannot sit idle for a long time. Is there anything else you want to ask me?
Alexa, stop.
Now we have seen
Thank you for using CM.
everything is possible. Sometimes you have to go to computer. Sometimes you have to change the paper also. With this type of mechanism, only voice you can ask. Any information you want to know, you can know. Tomorrow my idea is very clear. Any citizen, we are having fiber connected to every home. There this equipment will be there. Then automatically there is any water problem. You can call and tell, I am having water problem, you sort it out. It will talk to the government department, time to time it will give information, it will sort out the problem. Either water problem or power problem, or ticket reservation, you name anything, everything with single voice, you can get it out, get it done. That is the beauty of the technology today. I want to integrate everything for overall benefit of the citizens. I am very happy. You have seen this is where we are working. I need all panel experts. You give your versions, an improved version and value addition for doing this experiment. It is a unique experiment. I am searching similar governments who are all doing this. No other government is doing except Andhra Pradesh government in India. We are very strong in technology. We wanted to use this technology for overall benefit, overall well-being, and also overall living standards of our people. I am thanking all of you. I gave a call because the Vidyarthyalu unnaru, students who unchukovali. Ours, my state is a total, this land is full of innovations. They are all knowledgeable. Now we are recently announced Innovation Valley. This area is totally Innovation Valley. Any innovation, people have to come here, they have to demonstrate, they have to launch the projects. Just like Silicon Valley, it is Innovation Valley now. That is how things are moving. Sky is the limit for imagination. And also there is a lot of opportunities for employment and also for economy. Every citizen of Andhra Pradesh should start one venture, one enterprise. And at the same time, every family, one should be computer literate, then our life will be very easy. With this, I am thanking all of you. Thank you one and all.
Your address gives us hope because we can now see what it is that your drive has achieved with imagination, vision and technology working together. So for the next 35 minutes we have 7 presenters, each of them leading a technology and innovation-led enterprise in some part of the world, sharing their visions of our future with all of us. First up is Peter Westerbacker from Finland, who is the co-founder of Slush and also known as the man behind Angry Birds. Peter.
Yeah, thank you. That was really inspiring. And yeah, being from Finland, we're a slightly smaller country and place only 5 million of us. And it was really fantastic to hear about all the things that you're doing here. And yeah, that actually reminded me of a very important thing, that there is so much technology out there. And if I look at then like back home, as I said, there's very few of us, but we managed to create things like Linux, MySQL, Nokia, Angry Birds, Supercell. Some fantastic success stories. Our neighbors in the south, in Estonia, know only 1.6 million people, they created Skype. So very few people, and we have created the most unicorns anywhere on the planet per capita. So how is that possible? It's because we have fantastic education. We can't do anything with these technologies if you don't have people that make all of these fantastic solutions happen. So we have always believed that we need to educate not just a few, but everybody to a very, very high level. And I always then get asked, I mean, I have 2 kids, and then I get asked that, but you must have then like really crazy long days at school in Finland. I mean, when you have all these fantastic results, that do you have time for anything else? And I said, no. I mean, actually, the Finnish school system is built around this whole concept of education for happiness. We want our people to have school and a life. So I have 2 kids, 12 and 14, son and a daughter. They go to school 9 or 10 in the morning. They get home early afternoon, and what do they do then? They go out and play. My son goes out and plays soccer, my daughter typically goes out, plays with her friends, then they get home and they do homework for 15 minutes. Sometimes it's half an hour, so not a whole lot. And of course the weekends are free. And we achieve the same or better results as our friends in Singapore or Korea, China, and so on. Then I asked my friends in Singapore about their kids. So what does the school day look like? Oh, it starts 6 or 7 in the morning, get home very late in the evening. And then I asked, so you have very long school days, so you have no homework? Then my Chinese friends tell me that no, we have 4 hours every day. And then I'm like, what? When do you have time to actually learn? Actually learn the life skills, how do you work with others, and how do you actually create new things? And the answer is that they don't have time for that. So I think that it's very, very important with all the technologies and everything that we have, that we really ask, what kind of society do we want? What kind of India do you want? What kind of AP do you want? Do you want the American dream? Or do you want the Finnish reality? In Finland we believe providing our teachers with fantastic education. Everybody has a master's degree. In fact, in Finland, tens of thousands of kids every year want to become teachers, but they can't because it's very, very difficult. It's very popular. It's more popular to become a teacher than a doctor or a lawyer. So we believe in providing our teachers with fantastic education and fantastic schools. We believe in providing our kids with fantastic education. So we think it's a much better idea to give the teachers education than guns. So I think that it's very important we ask ourselves what kind of education, what kind of society. And I think that we should always think about how do we create a society of happy people. So I was very happy to hear the presentation here and that we share the same values, that it's all about happiness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. The next presenter is Marilyn Elder, CEO and founder of Plant E, the Netherlands. You will find a short profile of hers in the booklet that's there on every chair. Marilyn's company has developed the technology which helps harness the energy of living plants to generate electricity.
Thank you very much. So, I'm very inspired by the things I've heard today, and so thank you very much for inviting me here. But I'm wondering, so how are we going to achieve all this? Where are we going to find the power to actually run all these sensors? Because they need power, right? And we want to do that in a sustainable way. Thank you. So I will tell you shortly about the technology I'm working on, which is producing electricity with living plants. So a plant produces organic matter, uses some of it for its own growth, and what's left over is excreted in the soil. And bacteria in the soil break down the organic matter. And you know what? Bacteria have this fantastic ability that they can actually free up electrons. And if we can capture those electrons, we can generate electricity. And I'm going to show you with this little plant that it actually works. I don't know if the people in the back can see this, but this will be around all day. So this little LED star is now flashing on this little plant here. So you know that works, and it works day and night. And that's good news, because actually now we can use living plants that capture CO2 and that clean the air. And we can use them to produce something that we need, power. developed several systems that are already on the market. So this is our modular system, as we call it, and we can use it to light an LED, a street light, for example. But we could use it to power sensors as well, that you can use for your Internet of Things. And this is our larger system where we put it on the roof. Now, if you put this type of technology on your roof, the roof gets insulated, it stays less warm inside. You can power LEDs, you can power sensors, and at the same time, you know, it's good for the environment, it's good for your health, it's good for the air quality. And we developed a larger scale system, which we call our tubular system, and you can run it horizontally through the ground. And now it gets really interesting, because we can actually scale up. Now, if you put this in any type of wetland, we could generate electricity while at the same time use the wetland for other applications. So imagine, try to imagine that you use your rice paddy field as a power producer as well. So you can run sensors in your field to know how much nutrition your plants need. Or you can power all types of electrical devices you need for harvesting. And this is what it looks like when you just install it. And let me show you that it's not a bad thing for the plants, because this is what it looks like now. And that's just 1 year later. So this is what we can do. Nature gives us this fantastic stuff that we can use to our favor without actually interfering with nature, but well cooperating with nature. And I'm reaching out to all of you to see if we can make this happen on a larger scale worldwide, so that we can all benefit, and maybe we could even start in Andhra Pradesh. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marilyn. Next, we have Nitin Sisodia. Nitin is an alumnus of the National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad, and works in the healthcare sector. He'll tell you more about his breakthrough technology, which is now going to be used across the world.
Hello everyone, my name is Nitin Sisodia. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm really glad to be here and really inspired to hear all the thoughts that I've got to hear this morning. I'm the founder and CEO of Soham Innovation Lab. We are a lab based out of Bangalore. We are a set of engineers, designers, physicians, marketers who are bringing out new technologies and finding unmet clinical needs. And also building some platforms for livelihood. So I'll get to this problem which I found 5 years back in a child development clinic in All India Institute of Medical Sciences in New Delhi. So a parent walked in with their 5-year-old son and said, "Ye bolta nahi hai." He's not able to speak. Now doctor, after examining, said, "ये सुनता नहीं है इसलिए बोलता नहीं है." He's not able to do disposables, or there will be like too much of expertise required to operate these devices. So what we have done is we have invented a technology which is very unique in nature. This basically works on a brainstem response where you give a series of stimuli in the ear and you get a response from the brain, and you can tell whether the baby can hear or not. This is very simple to use by any healthcare worker, can perform in any noisy setting, and basically gives out a result as pass, refer or redo. This technology is also being enabled by telemedicine, so every result gets verified by a specialist remotely, and we have a unique aftercare cycle also to this. So as you know that 26 million babies born every year in India, and they are born equally in hospitals as well as at homes, and we have kind of models where we can really address these babies or screen these babies. If the baby is passed, the report will be printed for the family, but if it is a refer, then it will be sent to a nearby ENT or audiologist, and there is always a follow-up through our telemedicine system. So far we are doing 4,500 plus screening every month, and close to 26 babies being identified for hearing loss, and we are really saving their life from disability, saving their speech loss, Right now, we have 16 centers which are performing this. There are 3 state governments who have taken this up model, and we really urge, like, if Andhra Pradesh government can take an initiative to make it a universal hearing screening program in the state, that will benefit a lot of babies in here. We have been recognized as a top 50 technologies for low resource settings by WHO. We have been in various forums. NESCOM has given us the ICT-led Innovation Award, and I'm really grateful to AIMS, IIT, Stanford University, BIREC, Grand Challenges Canada for supporting us and taking us to this stage. With the message for screening for all, Make in India for global health, I would like to thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nitin. Next up is Pratik Bam, co-founder and chief technology officer of Carbon Clean Solutions Limited. He is the first of the 3 IIT alumni we have with us today, and he's also been recognized as a technology pioneer by the World Economic Forum.
Good morning. My name is Pratik. I'm the co-founder of Carbon Clean Solution. So what we do, we try to decarbonize industry and reduce the CO2 emissions problem which is creating global warming. Like what we are in this market from 9 years and supported by the World Economic Forum as one of the technology pioneers. Received grant from UK Department of Energy, Climate Change and US Department of Energy. So we are the market leaders in capturing carbon dioxide and industrial use so that you can reduce your carbon footprint from your industry. We are the technology licensor. We hold patents for CO2 to soda ash and CO2 to methanol technology, and this is what we are currently doing for industrial decarbonization and reuse of the carbon dioxide. Basically, capturing carbon dioxide and help in effective conversion can lead to, in chemicals and fertilizer industry, it would evaporate even fuels and materials as well. So all enables to effective and low cost CO2 capture from your industries. We are doing some of the global demonstrations. Some of the projects are based in Tamil Nadu. One of the projects is the world largest project we have currently built last year, which is capturing CO2 and just doing complete decarbonization of industry and producing soda ash. And in fact, that soda ash is used for your cement and glass industry. There are a few large scale projects in Europe and some of the projects in US and Canada as well, which are currently executing. So what we do, we capture CO2, we convert it into useful chemicals and produce oil out of product, and some of the projects which we are currently in the pipeline is converting CO2 to methanol and CO2 for the storage. So this is what we have done commercial relating in India last year, in which we have worked with the chemical industry in India, Tamil Nadu, to try to decarbonize that industry. The whole plant is a zero emission plant, which is effectively capturing all this carbon dioxide and converting good green chemical soda ash, which is one of the world's first large scale commercial demonstration which we have demonstrated.
Students question.
So yeah, so CCUS is reaching to a commercial scale. We have demonstrated on a profitable commercial scale in India. CO2 EOR as a good prospect and reduce the exporting oil production in India. We are doing further research and development need to be done on CO2 to methanol as a fuel, and definitely we are looking for a partnership for demonstrating further CCUS in India and especially Andhra Pradesh in terms of further decarbonize the whole industry spectrum. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pratik. We're running very short on time, so I'm just going to rush through. The next presenter is Shivan Das, co-founder and chief operating officer of another alumnus of IIT Bombay. And he's also been recognized as one of the 13 top business leaders under the age of 30 by Forbes India magazine. He's all of 27 years of age.
Yeah, hi. Good morning. My name is Shivan. Thank you for inviting us here. So we at Atomberg design and manufacture smart and energy efficient home appliances, where a bunch of smart gets on high. We got awards and recognition at both domestic and international level for our recent innovation. Talking about the product, you'll be surprised to know that ceiling fans consume more than 20% of the household consumption. And if you don't have a refrigerator AC, the consumption goes up to like 40% and 20% respectively. So what we've done, we have actually reinvented the ceiling fan and we have changed the motor and that will save more than 65% of electricity consumption consumed by normal ceiling fan. So if I see saving calculations and if I see on an average 16 hours per day, you can save up to 2,000 rupees per fan per year. Imagine if a government body has 1,000 fans, the saving can go up to like 1 crore over a span of next like 5 years. That's the kind of impact potential that this technology has. Talking about technology in layman term, what we've done is that we have optimized the entire defrost, so you can touch the body of the fan even if it runs for 24 hours, let's say 65 days. The technology is known as BLDC technology, that stands for brushless DC motor. Now, every year in India, 4 crore fans are being sold, and if we replace all those fans by BLDC technology-based fans, we can save up to 4,880 gigawatt hour per year. And that means a power plant investment of $1.28 million. That's the amount of saving we can have every year if we replace all the fans by BLDC fans. We have not confined our product portfolio to only ceiling fans. We have expanded our product portfolio to various domestic and industrial fans.
It's really poor.
Now, how AP can save? In AP, there are more than 1.26 crore households, and 92% of the 92% of them has access to electricity. If they use these fans, on an average, they have like 3 fans a household. AP can save approximately 9,73778 kilowatt of electricity. And I mean, there is no brainer why AP government should promote this BLDC fan, of course, to reduce electricity consumption and promote sustainability. We have also got a very good response from the government of AP. I mean, AP as a state, we got Hyderabad, Yale University, ITC as a client, and they are like very satisfied and buying repeated orders. We have had to have an immediate partnership with AP because we are a venture-funded company and we are establishing a manufacturing plant. We want AP to be a strategic location for us, and also we want AP government should promote BLDC fan because there is no point in promoting a CFL if you have a LAT already in place, right? And so we want an immediate partnership with AP government. With that, I would like to thank you again for the invitations.
Thank you very much, Shubham, for keeping that short and crisp. I'm sure that's great news for all householders and governments alike. The next presenter is Rob Leslie, CEO and founder of CEDICI, a leader in cybersecurity and identification systems, recognized as a technology pioneer by the World Economic Forum.
Good morning, everybody. Rob Leslie is my name. I'm going to introduce you to CEDICI and the crypto network. CEDICI is building a platform for the identification of organizations, people, devices, software, and sensors. Today, the world's identity systems are completely fragmented. We want to create a technology that any organization can use to turn the identity information that they have into an asset that generates value for them and for their customers. So no longer are you just giving information away for free, but you're now able to receive value for that. We're creating this using a technology known as zero-knowledge proof, which allows privacy-preserving technologies to be built into this whole process, so that I can keep my information private, but I can still prove who I am in the process. So some of the technologies that the Chief Minister was talking about this morning fundamentally rely on the identification of the devices and the sensors and all of the different things in the ecosystem that join up. We enable that regulated digital currency so that my identity for the first time will become a value that could be tradable when I say it's okay to trade, and bind in all of the different organizations who need to see what's going on at any moment in time.
Throughout history, we have equated energy with consumption of natural resources. And in the last few years, what we have realized is that we can use data as a new source of energy. The good thing about using data as energy is that not only it is the cleanest and cheapest source of energy, it's actually the only resource in the world that is growing. As we all know, in the last 125 years or so, we have tremendously benefited with the advances in electricity infrastructure. But that benefit has come with some inconvenient cost as well. And if we have to progress as humanity for the next 1,000 years and beyond, we must find sources of energy that are not only cheap and reliable, but also sustainable as well. And we must start that journey right now. The good news is that we already have a path to achieving that. I call it the 3 Ds of decarbonization, digitalization, and decentralization. The renewable energy today is already the cheapest form of energy available to mankind. The problem is that the sun doesn't shine in the night and the wind doesn't blow at all times. But by harnessing the data coming from the Internet of Technology sensors that are deployed across this power grid, we are able to today forecast demand and supply patterns at an unprecedented scale and granularity. And then by using artificial intelligence technologies, we can make millions of micro adjustments to any energy consuming, producing, or storing device to ensure that power reaches exactly where it is needed, precisely when it is needed, no matter where it is generated. And we call it the energy internet. The power plants, natural gas plants, and everything in between, like the storage system, electric car. We are able to bring data from all of these assets and optimize them to make an efficient energy system. Today, I'm very proud to announce that we are partnering with the government of Andhra Pradesh to bring our technology for the first time in India in partnership with Andhra Pradesh State Electricity Company. Thank you. With this technology, we expect not only the rates for all the consumers will go down. We are serving both agricultural consumers as well as urban consumers by intelligently optimizing pump sets and air conditioners. But we also expect that the utility will save over 2,000 crores in the next 5 years. Now imagine if we can scale this energy internet technology across the entire nation. In the next 10 years, this technology is going to move faster than a startup. And I have no hesitation in saying that his government has moved faster than any other government that I've seen in my career anywhere in the world. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank the government officials, Mr. Sai Prasad, Mr. Ajay Jain, Mr. Nayak, who have personally driven this project and have been extremely responsive. If we have a question, we always get an answer within 24 hours. I've never seen that happen anywhere in the world. So again, I think that the AP population is extremely fortunate to have such dedicated and visionary government officials who care so passionately about the future of the country. I want to thank you again, Honorable Chief Minister, for your visionary leadership, not just for the state of AP, but for the entire country, and even more than that, for the entire world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amit. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this session. A warm round of applause for the visionary Chief Minister and the panelists who are living proof of what the combination of imagination, technology and innovation can achieve, driven of course by entrepreneurship. Thank you very much, panelists, Chief Minister, ladies and gentlemen, for being patient with us while the session got delayed. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd request our dignitaries to please stay back for a moment. We're going to have an MOU exchange. I'd like to invite on stage Shri Anil Charamasetti, founder and chairman of ACE Urban, founder, CEO and MD of Greenco Group on the dais, for signing the MOU with Shri Vijay Anand, Principal Secretary, Department of IT, Government of Andhra Pradesh, to sign the MOU in presence of Honorable Chief Minister Shri Chandrababu Naidu Garu. And while they join us, can we have a small audiovisual on the screen?
1998, the Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Shri Chandrababu Naidu, had a vision to make Hyderabad a world-class IT destination, generating jobs and boosting economic growth. ACE Urban Infocity Limited, formerly known as L&D Infocity, played a huge role in manifesting this vision by constructing the iconic cyber towers and developing high-tech city, now known as IT Hub of Hyderabad. ACE Urban further developed the cyber gateway and large-scale IT campuses for world-class companies such as Deloitte, HSBC and Motorola by providing Grade A buildings, power, internet connectivity and other necessary requirements that triggered the IT revolution in Hyderabad 20 years ago. Now 20 years later, the Honorable Chief Minister ecosystems as a credible competitor to the Silicon Valley, differentiating itself from other IT destinations. The Integrated Innovation and Technology Park shall be the first in India to standardize corporation infrastructure through technology and catapult Visakhapatnam to the top of the Indian economical ladder. Let's step into tomorrow today.
Thank you very much. I'd also like to invite Shri Nara Lokesh, Honorable Minister for IT and Electronics, to join us. ACE Urban Group is proposing to invest Rs 3,220 crores and will generate an employment of 18,000 in the IT, ITES innovation sectors through the development of India's first digitally integrated smart urban infrastructure campus to attract the world's leading innovation companies to Visakhapatnam, ladies and gentlemen. And now, since the MOU has been signed and exchanged, I request Shri Ahmed Babu, CEO, Real-Time Governance, Government of Andhra Pradesh, to give his closing remarks for this session.
Thank you. As you have seen, all the speakers were emphasized. I am very happy. Different innovations have come. I am requesting all innovators to have MOU with our department. Amit Narayan has delayed. It is 1 year. That is my dream. I want to control totally. Even I am very happy. We are using 1 billion devices as of today IoT. I want to use all our technologies in that. So that I will be very happy to implement all these things. Now our friend from Finland is going to bring education. Education is not going on in India. Education is a big problem. That is the best model. It is a fun while learning. I am very happy for that. We will work together. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Another is Anil has done a wonderful MOU, but at the same time land is available with him. Now he has to implement it. I am alerting him also, if we delay, your technologies will become outdated and then I have to take over land. There is no way then what we solve. Immediately I have to rush and work it out. Thank you.
Requesting our Honorable Chief Minister to please stay back for a moment. We have another MOU exchange. We have Mr. Anil from Greenco. I'd like to invite Mr. Ajay, Principal Secretary Energy from Government of Andhra Pradesh, and Mr. Babu, Managing Director of NetCap, to join us on stage. Greenco Group is India's largest developer, owner and operator of renewable
technology is destructive, but Team Andhra Pradesh believe in using this destructive technology to ensure that technology makes life of the people very easy and happy, especially those who are downtrodden. I thank all the speakers, the world-renowned technology innovators. Sir, as you have told, we will sign the MOUs latest by today evening and we will take it forward. Thank you very much. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. I request our Honorable Chief Minister to present mementos to all our speakers, felicitating them, a token of our appreciation and gratitude to Mr. Peter Westerbacka, co-founder Slush Finland. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter, for joining us today. A warm round of applause for each of our panelists, ladies and gentlemen, reminding you that they have joined us from all the corners of the globe to be here with us and share their experience and expertise. Ms. Marilyn Elder, founder and CEO, Plant E, Netherlands. Thank you, Ms. Marilyn. Mr. Nitin Sisodia, founder, Soham Innovation Lab. Mr. Prateek Bum, co-founder, Carbon Clean Solutions UK. And Mr. Amit Narayan, founder, Autogrid USA. Thank you very much to all our panelists and thank you our Honorable Chief Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, requesting you all to kindly remain seated. We start our next plenary session immediately. Requesting our panelists on stage to please occupy the seats in the audience. Kindly remain seated, ladies and gentlemen. Our second plenary session, the Reform Calculus, promoting ease of doing business.
This 1 minute, can you say, all of you? Yeah, 1 minute. In Andhra Pradesh, around 260 colleges are viewing this program. I am very happy for that. Can you connect one college, any question, 1 or 2 questions, only 1 question or 2 questions from college? Can you connect one college? Yeah, there are. Babu, one college you can connect.
Mike. All of them. On.
Andhra University. Please talk with CM.
Good morning, sir. Very good morning, Honorable Chief Minister and respected delegates who are present over here. After bifurcation of AP, we have did a lots of things like I have, and now we are going to implement like and land. We are very impressed by the innovative plans which you are going to implement. And coming to my question, sir, my name is Priyanka and I am from Vignan Women's. So coming to my question, what kind of, if we have some innovative ideas, so what kind of support you are going to give for us from the government? We can expect from the support from the government.
No, we are very clear, I told you. You are having knowledge. Go for innovation. Then automatically we'll go for incubation and also startup. This is the ecosystem we are creating now. Not only seeking jobs, you have to provide jobs. That stage you have to come. That is very inspiring time. You have seen all innovators. They have done different fields, different innovations. You have to take spirit from them
and then you have to think in that direction. I will be very happy government of Andhra Pradesh will extend all the cooperation for innovators.
Okay, so while we are doing our final year projects in the BTech final year, so
Which one?
Final year BTech, sir. If we have lots of projects, so if we have some innovative projects, then how they can help us?
So what I am saying, once your project is very innovative,
yes, sir.
again you have to go for incubation. Already somebody has innovated the product or not. Then ultimately it is tested, it is commercially viable, then you can go for startup. Government of Andhra Pradesh, we are having a policy, we are spending 100 crores on that. Even some projects may fail, we don't mind, but ultimately we want to promote entrepreneurs and also in a big way innovations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I am bringing now that ecosystem, venture capital, government funding, and also innovation ideas. Even Mr. Friend from Finland, he has started this. Yesterday he told me, when he asked innovations in the students among 1,000 people, only 2-3 people told him that we want to become entrepreneurs. Then he tried, he focused. Then again after 2-3 years he had a meeting, 50% said we want to go for innovations. That is the thinking, you have to get it. And then government of Andhra Pradesh is very keen to promote innovation. Every individual should become entrepreneur. That is our idea. We will extend all the cooperation for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the opportunity.
Okay. Any college, you can connect one last question. Babu.
My question is, in what way AP Innovation Society will collaborate with Andhra University to fulfill the agenda of one entrepreneur in every family? In what way AP Innovation Society will collaborate with Andhra University to fulfill the agenda of one entrepreneur in every family?
Not clear, voice is not clear, picture is very clear. Video is clear. Malli okasari maatladtava? Repeat your question. Repeat the question.
In what way AP Innovation Society will collaborate with Andhra University to fulfill the agenda of one entrepreneur in every family?
We are unable to. Vice Chancellor, can you tell that?
Good morning, sir. The question asked by the student is, in what way AP Innovation Society can collaborate with Andhra University to fulfill the agenda of one entrepreneur in every family?
No, there are a lot of opportunities. Andhra University can have a collaboration with the different universities and different areas for innovation. We will guide you. They are best universities. Andhra University is also one of the ancient and also very renowned university. We will work together for different aspects, different universities. You can have collaboration. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, because of a shortage of time, we are unable to take more questions. With this, we are thanking all of you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Minister. I now request all our dignitaries to please take their seat in the audience. All our panelists, thank you very much for your time and patience. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. We kickstart our second plenary session for day 2 of the summit almost immediately. The reform calculus promoting ease of doing business. To To become a prosperous, high-income country in the next 2 decades, India will have to achieve a sustained economic growth rate of 8% a year or more. To achieve this, several key areas of reform need to be addressed, including improving the ease of doing business in India. India has done well to break into the top 100 in the World Bank's ease of doing business indicators, and it's expected that the country will climb up the rankings further in the coming year. However, much more still needs to be done to break into the top 50 in the rankings. The session will focus on what measures are needed to make India an easier place to do business, how can we incentivize the states to undertake these reforms, what measures needs to be taken to strengthen the private sector and the market mechanism in the country, and how can these reforms benefit the population at the base of the pyramid. We'll just take a couple of moments here to set the stage for our next plenary session. In the meantime, I'd like to share with you that the Tourism Department is arranging a 2-hour local sightseeing trip at 5 p.m. today. Those who are interested to avail this opportunity are requested to register their names in the tourism exhibition stall, which is located outside. The tour can be arranged only for those who register their details before 3 p.m. today so that they can plan accordingly. For our next session, our panelists have already joined us. I'd request our Honorable I'd like to invite on stage once again our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri N. Chandrababu Naidu Garu. He's a part of the panelists and be giving his inputs of how we can promote ease of doing business in India and Andhra Pradesh. Also inviting on stage Mr. Yu Ong Tu, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Commerce, Myanmar. Mr. Jamal Saif Al Jawan, Secretary General, International Investor Council, UAE. Just taking a break from inviting our panelists, there's an announcement that we'd like to make, ladies and gentlemen. The state of Andhra Pradesh and Finest are signing this MOU covering robotics, education and mobility solutions, ushering in a powerful partnership between Andhra Pradesh and Finland. The MOU covers building a robotics and all-focused university that will partner with the Kori Artificial Intelligence and Robotics Campus and other Finnish and Estonian educational institutions. It will also facilitate the development of robotics and AI-based startups and companies around the campus and collaboration between Andhra Pradesh and Finnish companies, replicate the Finnish startup ecosystem, experience in the Innovation Valley in Andhra Pradesh, and partner with APEDB for the development of the gaming center and ecosystem in Andhra Pradesh. Inviting on stage our panelists for next session, Jamal Saif Al Jawan, Secretary General, International Investor Council, UAE, Jose Luis Kaiser, Director General, International Trade and Investments, Ministry of Economy, Industry and Competitiveness, Spain. Phil Shaw, Chief Executive, India, Lockheed Martin. Samir Garbe, President, India and SARC Cisco Systems, Inc. Srimati Shobhana Kamineni, Confederation of Indian Industry, Myron Brilliant, Executive Vice President and Head of International Affairs, USIBC, US Chamber of Commerce, and Soumitra Datta, Professor of Operations, Technology and Information Management, Cornell S.C. Johnson College of Business, USA. I'd like Soumitra Datta to please take the session forward and moderate the session as well. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you can sit down a little bit so that we can get the session started now. So welcome to this session on the reform calculus, promoting the ease of doing business. Yesterday we had a wonderful day of presentations about Sunrise Andhra Pradesh. We saw the ambitious and bold leadership of the Chief Minister, and certainly we are impressed by all the achievements of this very young state. We also had a wonderful evening, and today we are now looking at the future. What can Andhra Pradesh do to help further improve its rankings globally in ease of doing business? It already is ranked #1 in the country. And how can India as a whole improve its ranking across other countries in the ease of doing business World Bank rankings? Two quick points before I go to my distinguished panel members. First of all, we all know that India increased its ranking significantly from 136 to 131 to 100 last year, a big jump in rankings. A lot of this was possible mainly because of its increase in ranking in handling insolvency cases from 136 to 103. And this was because of a new law that was put in place for handling insolvency cases. So one law made a big difference in one parameter, and that made a big difference in the overall ranking of India. Think about the potential that India has to further improve its rankings as other reforms take place in the country. It is worthwhile to keep in mind that 37 reforms have taken place since 2003, and half of them have taken place in the last 4 years. The other bright spot in the ease of business rankings is that the ease of business rankings is done on the basis of analysis of processes in the two major metro areas of India, Delhi and Mumbai. Think about Andhra Pradesh, which is ranked #1. It is not really included in the global ranking of India's doing business rankings. If the doing business rankings captures the excellence of Andhra Pradesh in this area, the ranking of India will certainly go up much more. So the potential for improvement is certainly there in this area. And now I'd like to turn to our distinguished panel members to share their insights about specific actions that India can take as a country, that Andhra Pradesh can take as a state, to further improve the ease of doing business, which is very critical to successful economic growth in the country and in the state. My first speaker is Samir Garbe, and I'd like to request to share his points of view.
Thank you, Soumitra, and thank you, Honorable CM, for the opportunity for visiting this beautiful city. I am pretty sure you will be having Vizag as the most clean city in the next survey. I was really impressed with the city. You know, Soumitra talked about the ease of doing business rankings, and we all know Andhra Pradesh is already #1. But it's also very interesting that if you were to look at the top 20 countries in the ease of doing business across the world rankings that World Bank does, if Andhra Pradesh was a country, it would be the largest amongst those top 20. Because most of the countries who are in that top 20 are less than the population of Andhra Pradesh. So I think if you were to do ease of doing business ranking, not just based on Mumbai and Delhi, because businesses in India are not just in Mumbai and Delhi, businesses are opening everywhere across the country, including this place. And I think personally, yesterday I went to IT Hills, and NASSCOM has a big startup center that they've created, and you have Madam managing as the Innovation Society head. And I was talking to Madam and I was asking her, what keeps you awake at night? And she said, the Honorable CM is always knowing more than me on what is happening in that center, which is actually pretty amazing in terms of how someone like the Honorable CM is holding people accountable for what they are doing. I think Mr. Narayan Murthy once said that we trust in God, the rest of you have to bring data to the table. And the interesting thing that I am seeing with all of these rankings that are coming out and all of this ease of doing business, or now what is called the livability index, which is going to come out, is the huge amount of focus on measuring things. And I think measuring things ensures that there is accountability. And I know you have a dashboard for everything in your office. And I think that measurability, whether it is at a taluk level, whether it is at a panchayat level, at a district level, or at a state level, holds people accountable and ensures that you know where you stand today and where you will go tomorrow. The second aspect of ease of doing business, which I feel we should focus a little more attention on, is how do we ensure that this ease of doing business is going to the bottom of the pyramid and touching the bottom of the pyramid. And it may not directly be linked to ease of doing business, but it is how we can impact using technology to help people who may not come to the city over the next 10 years, but will stay in their villages or in their smaller towns. But can all of these things impact, and technology can impact those people? And I was thinking of some of the things that we as Cisco are doing in Andhra Pradesh and in other states. And one of the interesting things that I looked at was that we've, for example, implemented what is called an integrated water management system with the help of the Andhra Pradesh government to figure out where is there enough water in which areas, from a reservoir perspective, from a groundwater level perspective, and then connect that with the collaboration tools so that people at every level in the government are able to see what is the water level, what is the water requirement, and what is the amount of water needs to be in one particular district versus another. And I think these are very important aspects which go beyond the ease of doing business. Because the ease of doing business is for people who are going to start a business. I think slogans which talk about the fact that we need to have one illiterate person in every family, they sound like slogans, but believe me, it's a very important aspect of how those people who will be that one illiterate person in that family will go on and get a job and add to the GDP of the state or to the GDP of the country. So I think it's important that we look at the rankings of ease of doing business, because some of the parameters that we look at in the ease of doing business, like getting credit, like the taxation system, like minority shareholder rights, getting electricity, dealing with construction. We've increased our rankings as a country from 130 to breaking into the top 100. And if you look at the top 20 countries in the ease of doing business, let's pick up the areas where they are number one and see what we need to do to get to number one in some of those parameters. The highest ranking that we have right now on any of those dimensions is 29, which is actually for minority shareholders. How can we target number one for each of those things? So in 10 years from now, can we be the number one country in terms of ease of doing business? It sounds unbelievable, but those are the kind of ambitious targets we need to set for each other. So for example, New Zealand is number one in the country, in the world, Why is it number one? Because it takes less than half a day to open a business there. It takes less than half a day to open a business. It takes only one document to fill to open a business. And I think there are certain states which have already gone in that direction. Single window, making sure, I mean, we heard the Honorable CM talking today that people who were in the previous panel will sign an MOU tonight, which is half a day. So I think getting there is not very difficult if we want to make some really bold and ambitious plans. I'll leave it at that, Shamata. And
thank you very much, Samir. I think you touched upon some very important points of measurement and how the measures influence actions to help the bottom of the pyramid. I remember visiting the offices of the Honorable Chief Minister in Vijayawada and seeing the huge board with the data being presented in real time. It was very, very impressive how the real-time collection of information is being actually visibly presented to everyone. Next, I'd like to request Phil Shaw to share his views, please.
Thank you very much. And thanks for inviting me, sir, to join this panel today. I think we heard a lot yesterday and earlier this morning about some of the measures that have been introduced to improve the ease of doing business in India. And then, you know, additional measures like the introduction of GST, demonetization, while they'll have a longer term kind of impact on the economy, they've yet really to kick in. So to move from the 140s up to 100th place, I think is fairly significant and a good indicator of the good work that's been done. In the state, we've seen the introduction of, in my particular area, Lockheed Martin, we're an aerospace and defense company. So to see policies introduced at the state level is also an encouragement, I think will incentivize companies to look at the states who've taken that leap to try and encourage aerospace and defense companies to come to their part of the country. And of course, the South has also benefited, or will benefit, I think, from the Honourable Rakshamantri's introduction of defence corridors down here in the South as well. There are a few things, though, that are peculiar to defence, shall I say, and there's a limit to what the state can do, and that's to do with the nature of the market. Defence companies are not going to come here. The point of improving ease of doing business is to encourage investment, or at least one of the incentives for doing it. And so a couple of things need to be done, I think, up in the central government to try and facilitate that in my particular sector. One is the length of defence procurements tends to be pretty long. And in India, it can be a lot longer than other places. So if there's one thing I think the states can do collectively, it's to encourage the central government to speed up some of those procurements to start to see some of the investment and the benefit from this ease of doing business. Also, the predictability of some procurements is a little bit suspect when companies spend many years here talking about particular programs, and they may get postponed, they may get cancelled, they may get kind of put back, which is a bit of a disincentive. But all this is really governed by the DPP, and I think the Defence Procurement Policy. And I think if I could pick out one issue in the interest of time this morning, there's a big drive from the government to for Make in India. Make in India in defence is reliant on those procurements from Delhi to get us going. But one of the areas that the government concentrates on in India is it looks at the lowest cost technically acceptable solution in defence. And I know it does that across many government departments, and that may be okay for a commodity. But when we're looking at capability, when we're looking at establishing industrial footprint, we're looking at bringing technology, creating jobs, creating ecosystems, and that kind of thing, which is what the government really desires. then we need to look beyond purely the cost and look at what's in the best interest of India. Is it jobs? Is it technology? And all these things. Prioritize those and make a selection based on that. We're very interested as a company to come to India. We want to invest. We want to bring India into our supply chain. And we've seen some of this happening already in Hyderabad, where we've got two main look at this. The way that they procure, particularly defence procurement, in terms of speed and in terms of cost only. It should be what's in the best interest of India. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Phil. And I think you raised a very important point, that the desire to invest from foreign organizations and companies is extremely high in India because it's a very attractive market. And things have improved, but yet can improve further, and the states can play a very important role in helping ease your process, at least in navigating the central sort of procurement system. So thank you so much for that insight. Next, I would like to request Myron Brilliant to share his points of view, please.
Well, first of all, I am delighted to be here. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is the largest business organization in the United States. We run the U.S.-India Business Council, which we have run for 40 years, because we believe in India and we believe in the opportunities between the United States and India. Chief Minister Naidu, it's a pleasure to be in your state. It's the first time I've been here. I hope it's not my last. I will say that I hope you invite President Trump next time, because he could learn a lesson or two from what you've done in this great state. So congratulations. I also want to give a lot of credit to CII because they're a great partner of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and have done great work to promote India going abroad, as well as encouraging reforms here in India. I travel for my job all around the world, and I will say that a couple of factors stand out. You look at the size of India's market, and you realize that the per capita income is still very low, but it's a $2.5 trillion economy. And by any forecast, in the next 15 years, it could be a $10 trillion economy. You cannot ignore India. If you're from the United States, if you're from Europe, if you're from the Middle East, from Africa, from wherever, you have to be looking at how to explore and develop relationships here. I think the market's very important. The world market is growing at about 3.9%. India is growing at 7% and should grow further, maybe even 8 or 9% in the next decade. And you're outpacing, Chief Minister, India's growth rates with your own double-digit growth rates here. So it's quite impressive what's happening in this state, and the fact that you are the #1 state in doing the ease of business is also a great tribute. Let me name a few factors for your thinking and for the collective thinking about reforms and how investors look at any market. The traditional way of looking at a market is to consider size of market, and of course India and this state, very impressive. 2, you look at labor flexibility and the education of the labor workforce, and again, India is scoring much higher than it used to and improving, but education is still an area that needs further development and growth. 3, you look at the infrastructure, the physical infrastructure. You look at ports, you look at roads, you look at airports, you look at railway. And I would say that India has come a long way, but there's more work to be done. By the way, the United States has a lot of work to do in infrastructure as well. In some parts of our country, we are still a third world country. And so I'm very impressed by what is the plan, but of course the execution is very important. The next factor that I think is very important for consideration is your use of energy. Not just access to energy, but energy efficiency. Countries that invest in energy efficiency are going to win. How? Utilization of energy resources, recycling, waste management, preservation of water supplies, very important to India as it is to other countries around the world. Another key factor is the ability of capital to move in and out of a country. Now companies do R&D all around the world. data has to move at much faster pace and much faster speeds. And it's very important that India stay ahead of the curve when it comes to not only dealing with capital flows, but dealing with big data. Big data is the battleground of the future. Governments that get the policies right, that allow industry to drive innovation and create the right ecosystem and create jobs, will be the beneficiaries. I think two other factors I want to highlight. One is connectivity. The world is becoming more connected. E-commerce is doing that. You look at some of the great companies today around the world and you see what they're doing in generating online e-commerce. And that's beginning to take off in India, but it's still further behind. If you look at countries like China or the United States or Europe, you see e-commerce penetration. That's where you're going to get the development of small businesses. Small businesses don't have the resources of large companies like Cisco or Lockheed to travel around the world, but they have the ability to use e-commerce to sell anywhere around the world. So it's very important for India to continue the growth in e-commerce and connectivity. And I want to just end with three things that I think about every day. One is, how do we build trust between government and the private sector? I think if you look at what's going on around the world today, there's a trust deficit. And I think we need to regain that trust. Part of that is investing in inclusive growth. And I think it's important for India, as well as for other countries around the world, to be investing in the people, but also ensuring that it's inclusive growth. And I think, Chief Minister, I know this is a priority of yours, as it is the Indian government. Prime Minister Modi made some very important comments in Davos about financial inclusiveness and inclusive growth. And I know, Minister, you believe that too. And so I think this is an important area. The second important area is to allow technology to flourish. Hospitable to technology. And the third thing that I want to emphasize is flexibility in your labor workforce. In the United States, we're going through this transition. Here in India, in some ways, you're ahead of the curve. You have to, of course, deal with the challenge of an informal sector moving to a more formal sector. And I applaud the government's efforts. The demonetization policy and the GST policy are very good instruments. I think one of the things we're all struggling with is how to balance the traditional workforce with the workforce that's coming in the next 20 years. And technology brings some disruption. So how does government help technology flourish while also recognizing the social cost associated with dislocation in the workforce? This is where business needs to be part of the solution. Bring business in as a partner, help you drive that in a way that is helpful to your ecosystem. And with that, I will simply say that it's a terrific environment in this state. What's going on in India is unbelievable. We are very much proud to be a part of this. We hope we can do even more. We're coming to invite you, Chief Minister, to the United States to open up an office in the United States. It's a shame no state yet has an office in the United States. 12 U.S. states have offices in India. We need to do something about that. And I just say, Jai Hind. My Hindu may not be very good, but I'm very proud of India and very proud to be a participant in this dialogue today.
Thank you very much, Marilyn, for that, I think, very strong vote of confidence in India. And also, I think, for the very useful suggestion and to the Chief Minister to open an office for the state in the US. And I'm sure probably the Honorable Chief Minister will consider it very seriously as part of his future actions. So next I would like to request Jamal Saif Al-Jarwan to present his views, please.
Thank you very much on behalf of the UAE delegation coming for the second time to Andhra Pradesh. We are honored and privileged to be part of such an event and share with His Excellency Honorable Chief Minister his vision. We come back because we are keen to learn from the Chief Minister states how they have transformed the state to a level to be one of the most fast growing states in terms of GDP and their contribution to the economy of India. We really once again honored and privileged. We have come a very big delegation from UAE this time. We promise you, Chief Minister, we will come back again. Because really what we have seen from the presentation again this morning as the Honorable Chief Minister, his vision is very clear. I think I will not indulge in too much detail and needs to do business. Honorable Chief Minister have clearly put it in a very simple way: innovation. Innovation is key to success. We share the same vision, Your Excellency. UAE government, if I want to share with the audience, also have embarked on 7 major pillars to improve the economy, to move from oil-based economy to knowledge-based economy. We have focused on renewable energy, health, education, space, water, and innovation. Innovation is the core. I personally, Honorable Chief Minister, have witnessed the evolution of the telecom for the past 3 decades. I'll share with you a very small experience. When we were in Etisalat as a telecom company, we were debating to launch short messaging system, SMS, back in the late 80s. It was a big debate. Will there be a market for short messaging? Debate from the technical team, the innovators, and the finance team. And the finance team were not convinced to buy a software for $2 million. And finally we decided to launch this short messaging. And it was phenomenal growth in messaging. So just a small example to share with you how the innovations and the technology has improved our way of life. Second example, I would again embark on and pick on the technology role and factor, which was totally disruptive, was the launch of GSM. GSM was launched in 1994. It's a European technology. And today we are enjoying the technology and the innovation that has even followed. From the GSM, then Apple came, which came up with the iPhone and the smart technology. And where are we heading? Now you can do your telebanking through your mobile. While at home you can pay your bills. You no longer have to do bankings at the branches or go to the utilities facilities. So really, the examples are many, and I'm sure I'm here in Andhra Pradesh. You can also share with us more of your experience. So definitely technology and innovation is the way forward. I believe UAE share exactly the vision Chief Minister explained. In UAE, our country has believed in this as one of the core values for the government. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed and Mohammed bin Rashid a few years ago have gathered with his government officials and said, I want all the transactions digitalized. You can transact through your mobile. I want the government to work 24/7. It's not the 7 hours a day. It's 24/7, around the clock. And I think you are embarking the same. We share a lot with you, Chief Minister. I'm privileged again. The examples are many. But Andhra Pradesh vision, it's UAE vision, it's an India vision. We correspond in many ideas. We believe wholeheartedly on what you are doing, because this is what we are doing back home. I will end up on very few statistics. today, UAE is the #1 Arabic trading partner with India. For the audience information, we have a total of $36 billion of trade with India. We are #1 Arabic country in terms of ranking in the foreign trade. So India is very important for us. We have developed this strategic relationship by signing many agreements with the India states, if you've seen the last 2 years. More importantly, we have a very active Indian investment community in the UAE. We have 4,600 Indian firms operating satisfactorily in the United Arab Emirates. Indian investors have put about $6.9 billion in investment into UAE economy, which we highly appreciate. UAE investors as well have invested about $10 billion into the Indian economy. And this is just the start. This is just the start. And we were meeting with the Honorable Chief Minister yesterday with a delegation with blue chip companies from UAE still interested to expand their business in logistics. And we are also managing ports. DB1 is operating here. I'mar, Sharaf Group, Mubadala, Adia, and many lists to list. So I will not take much of the time. We share a lot. We are interested, excited in terms of what we're seeing in India. We share a lot of values with the Indian community. And the largest Indian expat community in the UAE are Indians. And India, I will end up with this note, have contributed to the growth of the UAE in terms of infrastructure building, sharing their experience for the last 50 years. We really appreciate that highly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The relationships and the links between the UAE and India certainly go very deep, and also with Andhra Pradesh. I think your points you mentioned, innovation and technology at the heart of UAE's success, is very applicable to Andhra Pradesh also. I was in Dubai just a few days ago for the World Government Summit, and I was actually very impressed to hear that the UAE has become the first country in the world to have a young 27-year-old Minister for Artificial Intelligence. So, you know, it's actually leading the way in many ways. So, our next speaker is Shobna Kamiani.
Honorable Chief Minister and our Commerce Minister, I think that we've, and you know, everyone in the audience has heard some great perspectives of international investors and what they're looking for India and what they need to do. So I think it's about time that I represent Indian industry and talk about us. I'll talk about the last person in the room, to the people sitting right here in front. So it's big and small industries. What's really happened is the fact is that India will become a $5 trillion economy, and in doing so, we'll need to triple our food production. We will need to create more steel. As I know, the steel company, the auto companies have actually locked out Maruti alone. All the existing steel company has already been underwritten for the next 5 years. So we will need more steel. We're going to need core sectors to start performing. And every one of these, if you look, just in my sector of healthcare, the Ayushman Bharat, 500 million people who will need healthcare. Think of the opportunities. So in every sector, so India, there are unlimited opportunities in every sector in India. So at that point, all of us know this fact. So we have to understand what it is that will get us. Why is it that Indian companies, tell me the last time that we have created the company the size of a Bajaj Auto or a Hero Motors. All these were 90s companies. Now what we need to do is we need to be able to take the medium, the MSMEs, and how can we make them into large world-class companies. And this has been done. This has been done very well in the auto sector, where we have anchor investors and the auto industry has come, the ancillaries have come, and now we've become world class. So these clusters will happen across the country. If you see in rail, if you see in defense, Phil spoke about defense, and in many other sectors that you'll see. These anchor investors need no longer be Indian investors. They will be large foreign investors that make their footprints in India, like Kia Motors has come to Anantapur. So this will spawn many industries, many jobs. So I think what India has done, ease of doing business, has done fantastically, is to be able to create an environment to start new businesses. As our Chief Minister said yesterday, and he's among the top of the list, so he said you can get land here, you can get electricity, you can get permissions, and you can open your business, and you can do all this within a month. So it's easy to open businesses. Also, and this is being measured by the DIPP. So every state is being ranked, so you're seeing competitive federalism at its best, that every state wants to attract you. The same thing is that you have to be able to access finance, and this is very important in terms of what we do every day. And this, I think that we've been at fault, this PNB, and you see all this, the NPAs, all this, we've gone through a very tough time, but with technology and with new resilience of our companies, we have to open up ways for us to get financing for our companies. And the third is the regulatory mechanism. I've gone to many of our CII members across, and I see sometimes how they struggle with, in terms of their day-to-day, that if you see whether it's tax payments or whether it is licensing, that within, that the collectors, they come, and the inspectors still come. This is where technology, CII encourages state governments, will start being ranked on how it's easier for businesses, and especially small businesses, to do business within the state. That will be the new ranking of how we move forward in the country to keep these vibrant and keep them growing. And last, I'd like to end to say that I think that this ease of doing business has been fantastic for the last 3 years. But now we need to move away from the word ease, because really the government has made it easier. The center and states have made it easier. Now it's about all of us in business to really get down to the business of doing business. And that is really what will turn the envelope around. So I really want to now call out to all my fellow industrialists and business people that this is the time we have to double down. This is the time that we have to take those right risks, because this is the best time for us to think that you will be riding a wave from a $2.4 trillion economy to a $5 trillion economy. And I think this is something that I've seen in the Confederation, that you will need to use more and more of industry bodies to come together, to talk about your problems, to get the expertise that will make you world class. And this is it, we need to do more.